Hello, I'm actually just about to leave to go see The Predator, but I still have the third one to talk about, Predators. So let's get into it. Predators, the third installment in the Predator franchise, the main franchise, not including AVP movies, came out 20 years after the second movie. A gigantic gap. Was it worth it? I think maybe. Well, first, what I liked. Once again, I think this is another sequel that expands properly on the Predator mythology and once again tweaks the familiar formula just enough to make it a little new and refreshing. In this case, the bunch of characters, it's one of the first things I really liked about it, is it's a collection of elite killers. It's not just one group of commandos or one disgruntled cop. It's the best killers from all different cultures. You got the American mercenary, you got a sniper, an African soldier, a Mexican cartel. You know, you get the picture. So it's a colorful coalition of badasses this time. So right there, you already have a nice little shakeup with the characters in the movie. The first one had a bunch of meatheads, all singularly meatheads, intelligent, but basically all brawn. The second movie had all these play-by-their-own-rule, crap-talking cops. And then this one that has just a whole bunch of different personalities from all over the world combining to take on the Predator or Predators. And it made it a lot more fun than I think it had any right to be. In addition to characters, of course, the setting is different again. And I love it. Once again, it's in the jungle primarily again, so it's kind of like the first one, except the big twist reveals that it's actually not Earth. It's a jungle on a planet that the Predators control. And it's basically a big game preserve. So instead of coming to Earth to hunt the animals in the wild there, they bring the animals to them, and they put it in their own controlled environment. And I love that expansion on the Predator mythology. Because in real life, there's the hunters that get their gear on, and they go out in the wild and they do all the hunting on their own and they rough it out. And then there are the hunters that go get search parties and go out into the to reserves where the animals are in a tight spot, or you can track them more easily. And so they're just expanding on this alien race being trophy hunters, and I love it. And the biggest, most obvious, and mostly welcome change that comes with making a sequel 20 years after the last one is the updates and the special effects. The visual effects in this movie are great. Before, in the first two movies, the cloaking device the Predator has is a cool idea, but it always looked kind of hokey, in my opinion, in the first two. In this one, it looks great. They don't play any tricks to make it easy for the audience to see, but just tell you that it's hard for the characters to see. It's literally, you gotta kind of squint while you're watching the movie. Like, oh my god, is that one? You just see like a little shimmer of it. They don't have that outline that first two movies had. That was my favorite special effect in the movie. But of course, all the violence is amped too, and it looks a lot better for the most part. There are a couple blood effects, like the Predator neon green blood effects, that I thought looked super fake. But for the most part, the update and special effects really does the technologically advanced Predators justice. Now, I think the first half of this film is by far the superior half. I think around the midway point, it starts to stumble. Before that, the first half of the movie sets up a mystery, kind of like the first one did. Like, what the hell's going on? And you're with the characters trying to figure it out. It's basically a 45-minute microcosm of the entire plot of the first movie. And that stuff is really fun and really interesting, entertaining to watch. And then around the midway point, it just starts to introduce some plot elements that either annoyed me or confused me a little bit. So a big part of the second half of the movie's arc revolves around there being two different kinds of predators. And there's basically kind of a race war or blood war going on between the two types. The classical version, the one from the original two movies, is the lesser of the two, they imply. More subservient. There's one chained up they find in a base camp, the humans find. And this other type is a little bit bigger, a little bit more ferocious, I guess. I don't know. I'm not inherently against that kind of idea, two different types of predators existing, even that they're fighting one another. But I kind of hate when franchises take their classic creature or character and basically say, here's this new thing, and it's better. Get used to this because it's better than the old one. And they basically do that in this movie. The classic ones, the classic design predator's barely in it, and when he does get in it, he fights this other predator for like 2 seconds, and then gets decapitated. It just kind of, it sucked. Because the classic one gets the mask on and the old music plays, and you're like, whoa, yeah, there he is, there's the classic Predator. And then he's decapitated moments later. And it's just like, oh. And they play this big upbeat music like, this is the new badass, get used to this one. I don't know, I don't like that kind of mentality. I like when like versus movies pit the two things against each other and make them kind of equal and make the outcome kind of indecisive. Like both sides kind of won, like AVP did, which I'll talk about at some point, I'm sure, in a review. But I don't like it when they crap all over their classic, beloved creature designs. And there's another twist towards the end that I didn't really care for. Basically, they established that all the characters in the movie were chosen because they're the top most elite killers in their respective army or whatever. But then there's Topher Grace's character, who's just like a nerdy, wearing a sweatshirt, and he just doesn't belong. That's a big part of the plot, is he just doesn't belong. Why is he here? And then in the end, you find out he's actually a serial killer, but he poisons people to kill them back on Earth, and then stuff like that, like little Weasley stuff. Which I didn't really buy that the Predators would put that guy on their planet. If they're looking at these people long enough to decide who to choose, I don't know why they would look at someone like that, who's just like a conniving killer. Like, he's not going to last 2 seconds on the planet. But then again, maybe that was their point, to have at least one easy kill in the movie. But I just didn't buy that the Predators would want him on the planet for their big trophy hunt. And one last moment that has always bugged me every time I watch the movie is near the end, or pretty much right at the end, Adrian Brody's character has the big showdown with the Predator, the new Predator. And just like Arnold did at the end of the first one, and Danny did at the end of the second one. And to fight the Predator, Adrian Brody's character does two smart things that are smart on their own, but stupid, I think, when you put them together. One, he covers his body in mud, like Arnold did at the end of the first one, to cover his heat signature. But two, he also lights a ring of fire around the Predator to kind of block out his heat vision. But he does both of these things. I don't think he understands the usefulness of the mud if he's also doing the fire, because the whole point of the mud is to cover up your body's heat signature, so you blend into the cool surroundings, so the Predator can't see you. The fire thing would be smart to block out, make everything super hot around you, so once again your body's signature wouldn't show up on the Predator's vision. But he does both, and it's supposed to be badass, but wouldn't that just make his masked, non-heating body temperature show up more against the backdrop of the ring of fire? I don't know, it's just a little thing, but every time I watch it, it bugs me, because they play it up with the music in the moment and to make it sound like the most badass hero thing ever, and I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. So that's my 2 cents on the third Predator movie in the main franchise, and I liked it. I liked it a little bit more than the second one, I think. I really love the setting, the idea that they have their own game preserve that they can take their trophy hunts to. It just kind of makes sense. All the mythology so far in the sequels is expanded properly and has done well for the overall story, in my opinion. Just a little nitpicky things primarily. I thought it fizzled out near the end, but overall I liked it. I like the direction the sequels have gone so far. And in about an hour we'll see if the fourth one holds up to that standard. But until then, I'll give this like an 83, 4-ish. And I'll talk to you guys after I see the fourth Predator movie. Bye-bye.